I'm presuming you can hear me at this point. Okay, let's try that again. At least one of you out there listening, there should be something on the mic now. I think I have it fixed. It's always audio is the problem. I've had no problems with video, but it seems that audio seems to be a problem every stinking time. All right, speaking of audio, let me turn down some volumes here. Don't want to get deafened by the phones halfway through the thing. All right. All right. Now that I hopefully have all of my audio issues well in hand. Let's try this again with style and verve. Ooh, that's some bad light. I need some light over there. Okay. Good. That can be heard now. Excellent. All right. So it seems like the new microphone that I was sent is working. Let me unplug the last of all of my other mics. So I only have one mic currently turned on, and that's this one right here. I think it's still peaking a little, so let me know if it gets too peaky and I'll have to adjust the filters. I copied the filters over from my previous mic onto this one. They should be close, but they may not be perfect enough. So tonight, first off, welcome campaigners. If you've been here before and you're coming back, you are a campaigner and I am glad to have you. If you are new here, you are now honorarily immediately made a campaigner in case you ever come back. So welcome. I hope you enjoy the what I'm presenting here. Tonight, I will be taking some of the things that I've been building and base coating over the last few weeks, and I will be adding color to them to turn them from base gray to looking more like rock and stone. Now, all these gaps in between all of the bricks, I'm going to be leaving those because I'll be filling those with sand later after all of these paints are dry. So that I will possibly do over the next week, but I may do it on next week's stream. That's going to get a little messy. There'll be sand everywhere and all that, but it might be interesting for people to see. So I'll be asking around about that. In the meantime, these are going to get painted like stone tonight, and that's basically all I have. The other option, the other thing I had going on tonight was the microphone test, which clearly that was a problem at the beginning, but hopefully that will be evened out now. So at this point, I think we're doing pretty good. It looks like I'm peaking, so I think I'm going to have to adjust some things, so I apologize. I can't do that right now. I'll just try to be a little more quiet or move this further away from my head. Let's see. Anybody have any questions about whether they want? Only one right now. So I can start with either these city block blocks, my storage bin containers that look like the roads or the city blocks, and I can start with either of those. I did have a slight problem with this one. I had a piece that broke off and I had to reglue, and I had a couple spots I had to touch up with the base coat. So it's going to be last either way, but I can do the smaller ones, or I can do these stair stackers that fit together like this to make all of the different sorts of platforms and plinths. Or I've also got some regular 3x3 tiles that go with those that I could do instead. So I think what I'm going to start with first is probably the stackers. That way I can go ahead and get them started drying, because there's 32 of those. So they need doing at some point soon anyway. So I think I'm going to start with those. Now, I don't know if any of y'all have seen my previous videos on painting, but I don't like just plain gray stones. I like to add a little color to them. I was already doing this to some extent before I watched Leif from Devs and Dice. And on his version, he does what he calls ketchup and mustard. He takes reds and yellows and puts them onto the base coat, and then he covers those over with various dry brushes of gray. I like the same sort of thing, except I like it to be more muted. I don't typically go for the red and gold, red and yellow like he does. I usually go for a blue and green. I don't know what to call it, dirty toothpaste maybe, but it comes out looking all right. It looks really weird when it first goes on, and it comes out looking superb after the grays and washes and such are put on it. So I think I'm going to move these out of the way. Now I will get to those in just a bit, and I will start on these stair stackers. So I'm just going to stack these up in little cubes here, and then once I've got all those ready to go, I will start painting and painting and painting on those. That's really all I'm doing tonight. These need to get done. Like I said, there's 32 of them. This is just an ongoing process. So I feel like I should fill the time talking about, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But really, it's going to be the same thing over and over and over again, 32 times. Plus the 16 of the other pieces, plus the 4 of the other pieces. So a whole lot of blues and greens going on things tonight. And then once those are dry, hopefully some of these stair stackers will be dry enough to start on the gray dry brushing after that. If anybody has any questions or anything like that, feel free to let me know. Right now, only one person's here, so I don't know who I'm asking to give me questions, but that's all right. See, I keep doing things like this, where I just peel that off, and it, I don't know if you can see that, I keep getting these to stick to things, and so it left this thing. This probably actually wouldn't even show up once I'm done, but for this one, I'm still going to touch it up with just a little bit of the gray of the base coat, and it will be dry by the time I get through the other 31 of these. So let me touch that up just a bit. Okay, that should be good to go. So we will take that one. We will set it over here so I know which one is the messed up one. All of the others of these have so far not stuck to the cardboard. As long as they don't stick, then we're good to go. Oh, there's another one where I missed a spot. I don't know if you can see that. I don't like having those little teal spaces looking through, or if I'm using the pink foam, the pink spaces. Pretty much already out of the pink foam anymore, and I don't like it as much as the teal, so I won't be getting any more of that, but I do have a couple here and there still. Put that back there to let that dry. It is kind of refreshing to have the microphone right here so that I don't have to keep checking to make sure that my other mic is right in front of my mouth, but it is a little strange because I keep wanting, I forget it's there, so I have a tendency to mutter under my voice, sotto voce sort of thing, and hopefully it is the plan that having this new microphone will fix that. See, I've got a couple others have come in. I am glad to have you. Feel free if you got any questions. Tonight I am just painting. I've got the base coat on these. Got a couple places I'm touching up. I'll let those dry, and while those are drying, I'm going to be working on the others. But I've got a couple of these that need to fix up. But I am hitting these with my not base coat, but the next coat, which is some color onto the stones before I actually get around to hitting with the normal dry brushes and all of that. Now, one of the people that is one of my Patreons was a lovely dear. And last week I was saying that I was having issues with my mic and remembering how it's, and that I would really like a wireless microphone. And thank you. Dungeon Matron sent me a set of wireless microphones. So if you can hear me better now, it's because my mic is right here by my mouth, and you have her to thank for that. So this seems like a good time to toss up my list of patrons. So I have 3 patrons at this time. One is Dungeon Matron, who I just mentioned. I've also got Patrick, and Patrick is also a YouTuber, and his channel is Hacksaw's Hobby Bunker. So if you get a chance to go check that out, please do, please do. And then Digital Calibrator is actually a real life in-person, lives here in my town-ish friend of mine who has been here, and they helped me get the filters and such set on my mic so that it sounds better than just a straight mic. So part of this, having this new mic close to my mouth, is all from Dungeon Matron, and having it not scratchy and tinny is pretty much down to Digital Calibrator, who clearly earned their name for reasons. So that's my patrons. Expect to see that list a little later. I like to thank the people. Oops, almost turned off my mic. Let's not do that. Okay. So let's get to it. Like I said, I like to hit these with a bit of a green and a blue to get a little color onto them. I sort of learned that trick from, I sort of did it, but not the same way. And I streamlined it after watching Leif on Devs and Dice, and he does his with a red and yellow, so that he calls it his ketchup and mustard. I tend to prefer a blue and green, so I am getting those colors right now. I'm getting my green color I use for that, and now if I can find it, well, I can't find my regular blue color, but I can find a different blue color, so that'll work. Let's see, let's go with True Navy by Plaid, because I have a bunch of that. And it really does not matter what color you use. You can use whatever color works for you. So I'm going to be using this one, and what is essentially the apple barrel green, also from Plaid, but I call it my boom. This is what lots of people use, is paint and PVA glue mixed together. And that's really all this is this base color green with PVA glue and a little bit of water to thin out the PVA glue just a little. And I, of course, can't find the paintbrush I like to use because that would just be silly. There it is. Okay. All right. Here we go. Now, I'm just going to use this as my palette, paint right, and my drop cloth, and paint over it. And you'll see that what I'm going to be doing is taking these blues and yeah, that one's all right. That one's what we call done. And I will be taking these and putting them in sort of diagonal lines. And I'm going to follow one grain, but this is 3 different slabs of stone, big air quotes. So I'm going to do my best to go like one direction on one slab, the other direction on the other, and back to the first direction on the third slab, so that there are sort of lines and striations in the rock colors. And let's see, get a little bit of water out here, ready to go. That's not my water cup. That's my water cup. All right. Yeah, and it's super easy. Even if you've already got the gray on it, you can just start from the step I'm doing here and just count everything you've done underneath as base coat. In case anybody doesn't see the playback later, Mia Geek said, stackers! Yes, I'm working on stackers and I'm making a lot of them. And Mia said that their stackers are very gray and they're thinking of repainting them. So that's what we're talking about right here. As I said, you can easily just paint over them and use whatever's already there as a base color if you want to go that way. And that's it, really. It doesn't matter how much you get in here. It's purely up to you. I don't really sweat that because I want all my rocks to look different anyway. all I'm doing is I'm using a brush that's got a flat, I don't remember what this is called on the end of a brush. Foot? I think that's the foot of the brush. And this one is flat. I like that because it allows me to make lines. And as I said, I'm going to be doing these as if they're striated rocks, but I'm going to do each layer a different direction. So all I'm doing is taking this and starting on the back here. And I don't want to make just actual straight lines, but I'm like blotching in the line almost like it's a marbling. And so that's it. Now I'm just going to be doing this over and over and over and over and over again. Now, where this comes across to the edge, I'm going to follow that around all the way onto the edge. Just like that. Just like I did on the top here and came around the back. Now this one, this line would continue somewhere over here. So I'm just going to take that and put a blotch over here and maybe one on each corner, and that's fine. And then I got it on both of them. So, oh no, they look like it's not going to show when it's done. You can do them however you want to do them. I should probably be wearing a glove. My hand's going to be all sorts of funky colors by the time I'm done, but that's all right. Now, on this one, stackers have a tendency to get put all different directions. So just in case this ends up upside down, I'm going to take that line that went across that way and over to here, and I'm going to sort of connect it diagonally here and here, and maybe a couple other blotches just here and there. Like I said, sort of going for a marbling look. And that's one down. Now, these are going to, since I'm painting all the way around on these, they're going to get stuck one way or the other. So basically, I'm just going to try to take them and as carefully as possible, find a spot that has less wet paint and put them over here on my when I'm done storage tray. I can fit easily 4x4 on here. Coincidentally, I happen to have 32. That was happenstance. I didn't mean to do it that way. So I can fit 16 on one sheet, and then I can go to my second sheet. So that's what I'm doing. Lots of blue lines. Yeah, and you can pick any color you want. I mean, it doesn't have to be blue and green like I'm doing. It doesn't have to be red and yellow like Leif does. You can just go crazy on it. And it all depends on what you want. If you want sandstone, you can use different oranges and yellows. If you are doing Feywild, you can do purples and greens. It's really just, just go nuts with it. Do whatever you want. And besides, the way as I always say on like lots of these things, it's a fantasy world. Who cares what it looks like? How do they know you don't have pink and orange rocks in that world? I should see some of the stuff that Mia's doing. I am really impressed. There's a thing called, it used to be called Dungeon Pizza. It was anything round that showed it, but it really got popularized and sort of streamlined on you need at least these things to make it useful in game. And it's now called a Universal Dungeon Tile, or UDT. It was really popularized by Professor Dungeon Master. And Mia is making some for a friend, and they are looking great, and they are already... and she's turning them out at a rapid clip. They are coming along very quickly. I'm quite impressed. She has her own Discord, so if you want to join that, I don't know that I can post it here while my hands are painted. I know that, and I don't know if Mia can post it into the chat, or I think it'll kick her out. So if you want to join hers, make sure to join mine. Even if you join mine only to ask me for the link to hers, I will happily provide that for you. So you'll look at those. She's also posted them a couple other places, but they are coming along really great. But if you want your own from her, I think you may be out of luck. I don't think Mia does actual commissions. The ones that she's doing are for a friend of hers. But I may be wrong on that. So probably want to join her Discord and find out. I thought you said you were doing those for a friend. Were you not? Oh, that's all one. That's all one sentence. Yes, you elbow deep in those for a friend. Better be a good friend, I hope. Okay, looks like that one's going to go pretty much straight diagonal across here. That's fine. And if you are better painter than I, or more patient painter than I, you could probably make these actually look like marble, get little feather lines and things like that in here. I am not doing that with 32 of these. I was painting like a single one, like throne room floor or ballroom floor. I might care that much, but I'm making 32 of these and I am trying to get these knocked out quick. So okay, and this one, you see I got that almost full coverage there instead of blotchy. That is not going to matter. Like I said, once these are all done, they will have a dry brush of several other grays over these. This is just to break them up so that they are not a solid, bland gray mass. And the fact that some of these are a little, is solider a word? More solid? More solid than others? Eh. And again, fantasy world. Maybe that's sometimes the rocks just clump like that. Who knows? Okay, and that's it. We're just going to keep on going with the blues here for a while. I got 5 done. I got another 27 to go. And that's just on the blue. And then I'm going to start all over with the green. Paint's not mixing well. I got thick over here and thin over here. And I'm trying to decide if I want to thin the whole thing or work with it thick. I really can't decide. I think what I'm going to do is switch brushes. Probably shouldn't have done that first. I'm going to mix this up so it's all more homogeneous. Add a little more water. Decided I'm going to go with thinner. This is a truly intense blue. I think this is going to be great. Some of the blues I've used before have not shown up through as well. And you don't want it to show as just like big blue blobs or green blobs or yellow blobs or whatever color you're using. But I'm just going to leave that there for now. What I'm going to do is use a different brush, again, still with a fairly straight, whatever it's called, tooth of the brush, tip of the brush, whichever. And this thinned out paint and see where I'm going from there. I lost track of what I was at. I said like 3 different comments in there in a row that were all simulated. But like I said, we're just making little streaks across stone and trying to have them not look like actual, like we drew a line, but like it's just a vein in the stonework. And get a little color on these rocks so that once they're all painted up, they're not just gray. That is all we're doing, is breaking up the monotony by doing stuff that's really monotonous. I know. But it all pays off in the end. All right. I know what Mia's probably doing right now. Mia's in deep, deep snow weather right now. and has those UDTs she's working on. So I'm pretty sure I know what Mia's doing right now. I hope you're staying warm up there. That looks that doesn't look pleasant to me. I've spent a year in Alaska, and I still am like, that doesn't look fun. So, anybody else crafting or anything? Let's see. Recently had a birthday, Alan over. Oh, cool, excellent. So, birthday UDTs. Always good to have birthday geekery, and plus they'll get played on, so there will be memories made on those, and that's always the best kind of gift anyway. Funny enough, this is about the third conversation I've had about gifts in a week. Gifts, not gifts, the format. Gifts. I guess I would be having those kind of conversations since we did just have Christmas and several other holidays, but they weren't even in relation to that. I had another one of those funny conversations where it's funny that all the stuff that we dreaded as children, we love as adults. Oh no, I got socks. Hell yeah, I got socks. Oh no, I got to go take a nap. Heck yeah, nap time. So funny. We change like almost completely opposite. We get older. Kind of funny. I enjoy it. The dichotomy. So I don't know who I was watching. I know Mrs. Lynn's out there, and they had some issues with the cat, so they got some cleanup going on with that. They've recently rescued several kitties from various different things, and so they've got one that's inside so that she can be out of the cold. So I know that that has been causing some issues there, and always good to get a chance to clean up anyway. So that's a good thing. She's a little busy this evening. She may not actually be hearing me say this, but that's all right. I'm still impressed. Cleaning, get the cleaning done. Woo. I always liked cleaning. I used to hate it. Now I'm like, fresh canvas to start from. So, like I said, these are called dungeon stackers. These were, I've made these for 20 or 30 years. Several other people I know have made them. I've finally gotten around to actually being more careful when I do them so that mine will line up better and more accurately stack. But these were popularized by Tony something, but he was is a viewer of the Runehammer channel, YouTube channel, and Runehammer was talking about Tony having shown these, and I think that's where they first got popularized. And I may be wrong on that. Tony somebody was the first person. No. Sorry. Runehammer does ones that have like a little groove in the edge that look like more like a carved piece of like an altar type thing. These were first popularized on Black Magic Craft, and Jeremy got an idea from Tony somebody. So there you go. But this is how these work. These fit together to make these little cubes or these little platforms, or you can even offset them a little and have like walls. You can use them to make instant house. You can use them to make dungeon corridors and passages, where if you set it in just the right way, it can make little hallways and such for your players' miniatures to crawl through. And they fit together just like a pair of stairs. They are made with a 3x3, generally made this way. A 3x3 platform, and then a second 3x3 platform, which is cut at 1 inch, and then you glue the 1 inch on top, and it makes one of these. You make 2 sets of those, so it uses 4 two here and two here of the 3x3 platforms that look like this. And then they fit together in a million, probably more than a million, probably infinite ways. And you can make some kind of strange temple, or whichever. You can sit them against each other for different designs. So anyway, that's what I've been making. And now I am just painting them to look like stone instead of just gray foam. Mrs. Lynn says, nope, I am here. Cats won't clean up after themselves. I know, rude. Just rude. I've had a lot of cats. I've never had one clean up after themselves. They make a lot of messes. They never clean up squat. They don't even have the courtesy to be smug about it, so you know it at least sunk in. They act like they don't even know they've made a mess. So I'm just taking these and putting them in what attempts to look like veins of various other stones within the stone. So what color doesn't matter. I'm just throwing whatever on here. I tend to use blue and green mostly because I've done it a lot before. So I'm just sticking with the motif I've had before. But you can use like Leif from Devs and Dice, who got me hooked on going in little lines rather than just blotches. He tends to do his in reds and yellows, and he calls it his ketchup and mustard. I do whatever tickles my fancy at the time, but most of my stuff has been blue and green on these layers. So I'm going through 32 of these in this blue, and then I'm going to turn around and go through the same 32 again in green. But I'm doing all of my blue at once. I only have to have one paint. So I'm doing these stackers. I'm also going to be doing... Oh, don't fall over. Don't fall over. I'm also going to be doing these 3x3 tiles the same way. And then I've also got my city blocks that I'm going to be doing. And these I will be doing differently. These will just be blotched because I just need them to look like a well-worn city. I don't care if there's veins of the ores going through or anything like that. So blot, blot, blot. Making little lines. Making the lines look like veins of ore through the stone. Just tend to follow the line all the way through. You see where this one go and come out over here. I'm going to paint some blue over there to make it match. That's a pretty wide expanse there, so I'm just going to hit this with some blue over here as well. And then I'm going to go at an opposing angle on this top part. That's pretty much this corner on that one. Come over here, about here. And then I tend to follow the same pattern as the top one on the bottom one, but it really doesn't matter. As long as you sort of make it consistent to where when you flip these in different angles, like when it gets flipped over, it looks like the it just has a little continuity to it, but that's within your own universe. If you want to make it completely different on the other side, that's fine. As long as it, works for you, that's all that matters. So there we go. Oops. God, I had moved to that. Okay, let's get that right there. Over there. All right. Anybody else crafting or have any questions about crafting, or what we got going on? And most of my conversations lately have been about the weather. Yeah. All my American friends are having weird snow flurry things, and or it's just cold snaps. I got people in Florida. They're obviously not having snow, but it's cold even there. And then I got my Australian friends. I was talking to Viv, who used to run. Well, I guess technically still does run Knights of Dice, but he's not very active on that channel. But he does have a couple of other things he does. And I was talking to him, and where he's at in Australia, they are having. Yesterday was 39 degrees. Today was 40 degrees, and tomorrow is expected to be 41 degrees in Celsius. That's 105, 106, and 107 or 8 on freedom units, and that's toasty. He said he was thinking of going to a store and was like, well, I don't know. And he opened the front door to go to the car and was like, nope, too hot. Going back in. He did have to go out later. He said he was having to drive with just his fingertips because the steering wheel was too hot to touch. I'm like, I've lived in Arizona and Texas. I feel you, buddy. I feel you. Yeah. Australia. If the animals don't get you, the heat will. Still want to go see it someday, though. Got too many friends from down there. I've seen too many pretty pictures. Yeah, I'd love to go see Australia. Probably wear one of those bear suits, but whatever. I like the guy that is inventing the bear suit. It's always constantly in progress. He does all the testing himself. He puts on that suit, goes and gets ready. Then he has friends come out and like just bash him with baseball bats, and he's even had one of them go after him with a pickaxe. And I'm like, well, he must have some pretty good faith in that suit. I don't know if y'all have ever seen that bear suit, but it's kind of hysterical in a wow, I can totally see why they have that sort of way. Borrow the old line from the Quiznos commercial a billion years ago. I see benefit of pointed stick. In this case, I see benefit of suit that can block pointed stick. All right. Making good time, making good time. Paint, 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 daub, daub, daub. It's really meditative, but it's not conducive to me talking to y'all. I kind of get a little quiet. So that's why I keep asking if anybody has any questions in the chat or anything. I'm more than happy to answer y'all. Otherwise, I'm just sitting here putting blue paint on rocks, which doesn't seem doesn't sound fun. It's actually fun to do, probably not super exciting to watch. Yeah, got to have good faith in the friends that they're not like, yeah, but on the other hand, you also do want them to go all out. The point is to test the bear suit. So, I don't know. I don't know if I have any friends I'd trust to be like, all right, what I want you to do is hit me as hard as you can with this pickaxe. They would either like, dink, no, hit me. I did. No. Or wham, and now I'm on my butt. Which actually might be a good test of the suit. It's also a pretty good test of the friendship. Anybody just tuning in now is like, what is he talking about? Bear suits? What? All right. You can go back and watch what we were talking about in reverse there or whatever. You can use the watch hours. Not in reverse, you know what I mean? Rewind. All right. Seems as good a time as any to plug myself. I do have a Patreon. That's how I afford my most of my crafting supplies here. So if y'all want to go over there, that'd be great. I've also got to buy me a coffee. I'm going to be starting just the other one, coffee, at some point. That's not today or anything. So if you're interested in helping me out, I'd sure appreciate it. If not, whatever. I'm still going to be doing this whether all of y'all sign up for that or none of y'all sign up for that. I would, of course, prefer if all of y'all sign up for that, but no pressure. I'm here for the long run. I've been playing role-playing games and building since 1979 and building terrain for them since 1981 or 2. So I'm not going to stop even if I never get another Patreon. But I do appreciate the patrons I have very much. I'll flash them on the screen here again in a bit, but not just yet. Not while I'm on a roll. But one of my patrons did, out of the blue, send me this cordless mic or this wireless mic. So y'all can hear me better. Thank Dungeon Matron, because she's the one that made that happen. Took me a little bit to get it working today, make it come through right at the beginning of this stream. It said it was working and then it wasn't. And so it took me a minute to get that figured out, but I seem to have gotten it working all right. Looks like I'm having a couple issues with some peaking going on, but that's not getting fixed tonight. That's a more lengthy process than I had time for today. But I am trying to make all of these streams better and better and better for y'all. So, again, thank Dungeon Matron for up a super cool mic. Very excited with it. Very happy about it. Dungeon Matron also has a Discord. She does not have a video or streaming presence anywhere. She just has like a hangout where people do enjoy to come and hang out. So, again, if you want access to all these people's Discords, go join my Discord. Should be a link in the bottom. I think I got it working this time. If it's not working, please let me know and I'll post another one in the sticky notes. And once you're over on mine, I'm more than happy to give you the links to other people's, because share the love. Some people get all upset. They're like, I don't know about how I feel about sharing other people's links. Do it. Do it. We're all one big community together. No point in, what's the word? I used to know a word. I'm not hip. I used to be kind of hip. I'm not hip anymore. But even the word I'm about to use isn't hip anymore. It's the word I'm looking for. Debo. Oh, we're using the Debo the information. That's the word. I'm sure the kids do not say Debo anymore. These kids, they change their lingo all the time. How can I keep up? Well, maybe you can't. Maybe that's okay. Man, imagine if I remembered every piece of slang I've ever heard in my life. My brain would just be full and I wouldn't be able to do nothing. Aha, I am halfway done with the first of two colors of that one of my things I'm painting. So, yeah, I guess that's progress. But it all needs doing, and I enjoy getting each little step done. Very contemplative is the word I was using earlier. That's very cool. I'm going to have to mute y'all for just a second because I have a bad cough coming. Sorry about that, but I am back. I didn't want to cough in y'all's ears. With my other mic, I could at least mute it on the fly with a button push. And I can't do that with this one. So I'm going to have to figure out some workarounds there. But overall, dig in the wireless mic. Do it which part? You said do it, but which part am I doing? Oh, the sharing. Yes, sharing. There's no point in blocking information. People like, I don't like sharing other people's. I am subscribed to 300 YouTube channels that are all about crafting. If people are going to like my channel, they're going to like my channel. If they're going to like my Discord, they're going to like my Discord. There's no point in me hiding somebody else's, trying to diminish anybody else's spark. Let's go with that. People they get really stingy with information. I'm just like, man, we are all in this together. Yeah. Feeling bad for y'all that are all stuck in the snow. I would not want to be there, but I understand we need the cold weather and the warm weather. Makes the plants do the thing, makes the animals do the things. I get all that, but man, it seems like it just came on all of a sudden. I realize it's winter. Winter just started on the 21st of December. For those people that don't remember, winter is not November, December, and January like a lot of people think. It's just now started. We got another 90 days of this, 80 days of this. And it seems like it all kind of suddenly rolled in at once this last week. And, so if anybody's snowed under or iced in or anything like that, you have much sympathy. I have been there at various points in my life. Hey, moving right along here. Get these done, get these done. Oh, this might be more exciting if I switch the camera up every once in a while. I don't know if you can see any better on that one, but again, more of the same. More lines of blue across the rocks. And I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going with a blotchy thing. I'm not just dragging this to make a straight line across them. I'm trying to make this as naturalistic as possible. And just follow the lines through the stones. I could probably even go heavier handed with this blue. I think I'm going to start doing that. little variation. Yeah, liking that. All right. Very strange. I've been made all these the same way, and one of these seems to have gotten squished. I have no idea how. Whatever. Won't ever notice it on the table. Stir it in, stir it in. I don't know why this keeps separating out so much. It's coming along, so I guess it's not too bad. There we go. That's getting some pigment on there. Like I said, each time I do one of these lines across, I follow it down the side, and then on the back side, I go the opposite direction so that it looks like it matches up to that top vein. It just looks like veins of ore running through the stone. And I try to keep all those going the same directions. Just like that. And if you don't like the way that there's too much of a gap or anything, you can always just touch up the corners. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Going for, what's the word? What's the word I used earlier? Homogeneous, but not identical. I could use some more water in here. There we go. Now, mix that in. All right, moving right along, moving right along. Yeah, I like these live streams to be pretty chill. I don't really like to be too worried about anything while I'm doing it. Just like, this is kind of where I like to go with this. So just chilling out and doing repetitive tasks works for me. Sorry if this is a little boring. I hope it's a little bit chill. I have a couple of chill streamers I watched on Twitch and YouTube, and it's the sort of thing I like to see on their channels as well. So I'll sit for hours and watch somebody just veg and do. I've been watching Viv, who does Knights of Dice. He's got a video game he really likes to play. I've been watching him play that lately. It's been super fun, super relaxed. I also watch Ugly Move 15, I believe is the name of it, on Twitch, and he paints minis that he's just printed, and he's got a separate, like, little, hard to do, like a window up in the corner, like up in here, where he has the next thing he's going to be painting, printing. So he just kind of keeps it going. If if a print's not done or something, he's like, all right, I'll see you later. And he'll be back in a few hours to keep going. It's kind of fun. I never thought I'd be the type of person that would literally just watch artisan, but I enjoy it. Several inches with ice blended in. That does not sound fun, Mia. But I've been there. Those of y'all who don't know, I split my time sort of between Daytona Beach and Atlanta. And Atlanta has a thing where it never stays frozen during the day. So we end up with a lot of times where we have snow and then it starts to melt and then it refreezes that night again and we end up with these sheets of ice and that's horrible. So I have much sympathy. Oh, I just saw what you said, Mrs. Lynn, about, yeah, if your friends are swinging pickaxes at you for the test your safety equipment, you want to make sure they know 911 or 999, depending on your country, or first aid or whatever. Yeah, valid point. Yep, I see you. I see what you're saying. See, oh, cold and rainy. I don't know. I kind of like cold and rainy, but not if I have to go out in it. And I know that tomorrow is Monday, so you got to go out in it. That sucks. I am very sorry about that. Not that it's my fault. I'm not sorry about that. I'm sad about that. About that. Oops. On another spot where that blue stuff. I can't see that. Every once in a while, I'll find this spot where the teal foam is still poking through. Now, after I get this blue on here and the green I'm about to do and the dry brushing and all that, that's probably going to disappear. But just to make sure while I'm here, I'm going to just dab that with the blue. And gone. That's it. Done. Just that simple. But we're putting about 5 layers of stuff onto here, so I can make it disappear at any point. Now, UK has this foam that's similar to this, except theirs is black or super dark gray. Man, I want some of that because that way, if the paint chips off or you crack the piece or whichever, it still looks like stone underneath. Man, that'd be nice. I don't have a way to get the color into this foam. I can only put it on the surface. Once all these are said and done and I get them all finished up, they will get hit with a clear varnish spray, but that's a future Crosses issue. That's not today. As I said, each time I put one of these veins through here, I try to make it match. So you notice that this is just at a slight angle. I follow that angle around to the back to the back side of that piece and continue that vein. And there's one here, and do that as well. Just kind of keep it semi-realistic looking. Some of this may not even be visible by the time I'm done, but just in case. Plus, you also got to remember that everything looks. Whenever we're crafting, you, me, anybody, any artisan, whenever we're crafting, we're looking at it this close to our face, like this. But once it's put down on a table at what I've heard referred to as 3-foot fabulous, it's all going to look fine. I'm always my own worst critic, and I'm like, that looks like just burnt garbage. What the hell? And then I toss it on the table. I'm like, dang, that looks good. I did a good job. Go me. So don't get stressed in the meantime. As so many people have said before, trust the process. All going to come out peachy. Actually, peachy might have been nice. I could put a little peach orange on it. But like I said, stick with my blue-green theme I've been having going on for a while. A little blue vein of some kind of ore going through this rock. And then I'll be putting some green on after this. Then after that, I'll be hitting it with the gray dry brush. I will probably only get some of the blues tonight. I may just start and put this on hold and be mellow again with this next week. Because that'll stop me from going insane trying to do it all at once. You get a little loopy when you do the same thing over and over and over and over. Hours and hours and hours. It's very zen and meditative, but after a while, you can get to that point where it's like, I can't stand that color anymore. Can't do this one more time. So I may just get to that point and put it off till next week. Feeling pretty mellow tonight. I'm gonna try to get through at least all of these dungeon stackers, and then also the squares that go with them that are just tiles, and I'm gonna try to get those all done tonight. So I may go a little bit longer on the stream just to get that done. But if y'all want to stick around for that, that's fine. I'll be here. If y'all need to clock off before that, that's fine too. I enjoy each and every one of you for the amount of time you can stay. That's minutes, excellent. It's seconds, I can deal with that. It's hours and hours. It truly humbled. That's it. More and more and more. Just veins of ore. Didn't mean for that to rhyme, but there it is. More and more and more veins of ore. Reminds me of 2x2 Hands of Blue. Y'all get that reference? We can be friends. Y'all don't get that reference? We can still be friends. And I have a show you should watch. Don't watch a movie. The movie is horrible. The show's great. I can't believe he called out that entire production company like that. Yeah, well, the movie was lacking. Probably my second most disappointing movie I've ever seen, of things that I had a high expectation going in. Like, I know what my number one was, but I don't want to just sit here and diss on people. But if y'all have seen the Bruce Willis Moon movie, oof, I had the chance to be something. It was something, all right. Oh, that's right. I was going to talk about my game if anybody wanted to hear it, but I don't know. I'm kind of mellow right now, and changing subjects might be weird, but we can talk about game systems if you want. And by game system, I don't mean consoles. I mean tabletop game forms. D&D versus GURPS versus Call of Cthulhu, etc., etc., etc. Oh, hey, Clerics. How you doing, man? Good to see you. I know I enjoyed your video this week, but right this second I'm drawing a complete blank. But I apologize. I did watch it. I did like it. What was it this week? It wasn't Thatch this week. It wasn't a house. I remember I noticed in the end credits, not credits, but at the end when you were showing the beauty scenes, that I noticed that some of your scenes for it were filmed on your camera glasses, which I thought was an interesting thing. I noticed you didn't point it out, but I'm like, I think that's filmed on those new glasses he was playing with. So, yeah, I definitely watched it, but I'm drawing a blank right now, and I apologize for that, buddy. Y'all go watch Cleric's Creations channel. He does amazing, beautiful builds in a style that is totally different than mine. Maybe it's so far outside of my comfort zone that it's just absolutely fascinating to me, the stuff that you make, man. Veins and rocks. In case anybody's wondering what I'm doing, I am painting veins and rocks so that when I hit these with the gray overtone, it's not just plain gray. Because rocks generally out in the wild, free roaming rocks, as it were, I guess, are not typically gray. There's all sorts of different little colors in them. Matter of fact, I just found out that somewhere within the not the crust, not the mantle, but below that, but before you get into the actual core of our Earth, apparently the rocks are green with little red dots and almost Christmas colors. How they know that is fascinating because it's all done with seismographic stuff, so they know sort of by densities and angles that things are bouncing off of them. They can tell what types of elements are down there, and because of that, they know that also the stuff is semi-molten, like it's hot, but it's not able to actually go molten because there's so much pressure that it holds it in place. And so somehow they have managed to figure out that peridotite, and something red, I don't remember what the red one was, are maybe a garnet, are in there with little in sporadic spots, so that apparently it looks like Christmas wrap or something, because it's like green with red. And I'm like, that is freaking fascinating. I actually just saw that on two different. The videos were sort of related, so they both talked about it, but I'm on two different Science Channel type videos this week. By Science Channel, I don't mean like the Science Channel. I mean YouTubers that I watch. I don't remember the name of her channel where she talked about that, but I thought it was fascinating that we have green rocks with red dots in our molten core, semi-molten core. I find science and chemistry like that absolutely fascinating. Both the fact that it exists and how we know that it exists. I love all that stuff. I like to always be learning, and when I learn new stuff like that, I'm just blown away. But it did not cause me to switch my theme of rocks to green with red dots. I'm stick with my blue and green. That is what I'm doing right now. Making blue and green veins in the ores. Or veins of ore in the stones, I guess I should say. All right. Two more. Then I can switch to the square ones. Be much faster than this. And I'm going to get the blue on all of these and all of those and then call it a night. So I'm going to be running a little longer than normal. So if y'all want to stick around, I'd love that. If y'all got to go, I get that. I get that. So that is what I'm doing right here, working with this blue. And then I'm going to have a rather mid green. I don't mean mid like, dude, that's mid. I mean mid like mid dark, mid light medium green here with some PVA glue in it. It's just my regular base coat, but it's already mixed, so I might as well go with it. And oh, thank you for saying, man. I really appreciate that. You keep coming back to watch me when I'm doing live stuff, so I figured I'm not bothering you too much. So I am glad to have you, my friend. Glad to have you. I'm gonna feel really embarrassed until I go look again later and be like, "All right, that's what it was about." I feel bad, but I so much stuff in my head lately. My big excuse now is actually a good excuse. I am writing this role playing game, so and it tends to knock everything out of my head. Once I get done here with this tonight, I'm going right back to it. The stuff I'm working on this week right now is weights, volumes, and encumbrance. How much room or weight does stuff take up in your pack or in one's ability to carry it? And yeah, it's kind of kicking my butt, but I'm getting to play God and create a whole world. So, actually, it's not even a world, it's a system that will be usable for multiple worlds. So, I get to put my creativity on display when I finally get the thing up and running. So, it's been fun, but it has knocked everything else out of my head lately. In only the best ways. So, that's kind of cool. All right, we're going to set you over there to dry. All right. I'm going to take all of these dungeon tiles here and do the same thing I've been doing to those steps. I'm going to put blue lines on them at slight angles. Make sure the veins match up one side to the next. Make sure I go on little lines so they look like veins of ore. And I'm going to keep plugging along here. Yeah, I've done that so many times. I've even gone back and Mia and I were talking earlier about sometimes you need to repaint things. I've gone back and not had to. I mean, I could have left it, but I've gone back and redone entire batches of things before. So yeah, I get you. My thing that I do the most often is I'll be building a house and I will start to do things like stick on all of the trim or the uh, doors, window frames, that sort of thing, before I've painted a base coat on the house when I plan to leave the wood looking unpainted and stained instead. And so I'll either have to be really careful, which makes everything take way longer, or I've got to gently and delicately peel all of the woodwork back off, or I just have to suck it up and turn and say, well, I guess I'm painting the woodwork on this one. Yeah, so I'll start to slap the trim on before I finish the undercoats on houses. Do that one rather a lot. Well, I haven't built any houses lately, but when I build houses, I tend to do that one and be like afterwards, like, oh, did it again. So, as you can see, more of the same. Line across, match it on the edge, match it on the edge, backside, opposite direction so that they match up. I do sometimes run the risk of these sticking to the cardboard I set them on, but I'm putting such a light layer on these that I don't think it's going to grab hold of that paper underneath. There's not enough bulk to the paint to actually span that gap. Sometimes you get to do really fun things like this, where this vein as an arc, and by following that arc off the edge, I actually have sort of a circle of the ores on each one, and just a blotch over here to make it all sort of match up. So as you can see, you can get a little playful with these. I've got this one kind of broken up here, and this one sort of broken up here, but it's right on the edge, so I got to paint the edge blue as well. Yeah, so have fun with them. And if you put the greens, or the whichever your second color is, in the exact same angle, I tend to put those between them, and I never do them at exactly the same angle. I always do them off by like 5, maybe 10 degrees. I know that in nature, rocks build up in layers, but I find that the just slightly offset veins tend to make better, more appealing to the eye. Put it that way. More and more and more. Oh, did it again. Started getting all zen and calm into my painting here. Forgot to talk to y'all. Sorry about that. I do remember y'all are here, I promise. Yep, enjoying this. About 9 more of these to do. Not about. I've got exactly 9 more of these to do with this blue, and I'm going to call it a night. And I think I'm going to be doing the same thing again next week. I think the same thing again next week with all the greens. I will probably have the blues like this done on my city blocks by then. I probably won't do more blue on next week's, but I may be doing more of this with just the greens next week. So if that's a little boring, sorry about that. But I may be doing something entirely different. I don't know. It depends on whether I can get my head in the crafting game after after a big bout of writing my role playing game. I'll do this one a little different. Like that. Break it up a little, change it up. My brush is a little wet, but that is okay. that one a little more, a little bit of a blue highway in the middle. It'll all come out great, looking great after all the green and then the various gray dry brushes are added. So, breaking things up a little here. All right. Six more. I did 3 real quick there. Excuse me. All right. Have a good night, Cleric. I'll go view Cleric's Creations channel. Great builds. Excellent builds. I'll take a little bit of time. That's all right. It all gets there in the end. 5 more. 5 more. Four more. A little more blue, a little more blue. All right, 3 more. Now we'll head out for the night. Wish y'all all the best. Once again, I'd like to thank my patrons and various other supporters. So I'm going to toss my list of patrons back up here in just a second. And these new microphone, which I hope has been working well, and that has been brought to you by Dungeon Matron. And then I also have Patrick Walther, who runs Hacksaw's Hobby Bunker. So go give that channel a view. He's built some good stuff over there. And Digital Calibrators, real life, meet with them in person friend. And they have helped work on my audio issues before. So that was between my first and second live streams when my mic got the sounding better. And I've also had Slavko the Mini Mason bought me a coffee on Buy Me a Coffee one time. That was helpful and useful. I appreciated that. I've got a minion that comes over and helps me. Still haven't told me whether they want me to put their name up or not, but I certainly appreciate all their help and effort. And in some of my, in many of my standard format videos, rather than my live streams, they have helped with numerous of those on many different ways. So big shout out to them. I also have a wonderful partner that is very supportive in this, and I wouldn't be still doing this if it was not for them. So I do appreciate that, because I've fallen back in love with this whole hobby. So many thanks to all of them, and to every one of you that has come here and supported me. I appreciate it. You are all now campaigners. So I hope to see you again, campaigners. And this is Campaign Terrain. I am your resident basement dweller, literally. And my name is Cross. I go by That Guy Cross. And I love you. I'm glad to have you here. And until next time, I wish you luck in your campaign.